So it's going to be hard to say anything else than BDS.
I think I'm going to have to go with BDS as well. We have picks and bans coming through. The first ban done by Kappa and Tween. They banned Gyroscope, and BDS have answered by banning Slowdown, and they're first picking Freestyle.
First picking Freestyle. That's an interesting map to first pick. Now, Freestyle is the one where you drive on the dirt walls and fling yourself over to the other side. A very, very difficult identity to do fast.
And I think Sinners did struggle with that map in week 2, sorry, against Big. They did not really have the best pace. Reps being the answer by the Sinners, and now I think we have back and forth. Yeah, it looks like they are getting exactly what they want here, BDS. Aero Pipes and then Slippy Slides to follow. Now the last choice from Kappa is going to be Agility Dash. So interestingly, the Sinners did pick Aero Pipes. They're trying something new.
So that's the thing, right? We have seen BDS on Aero Pipes before. They've performed pretty decently, not too many crashes. So we're going to have to see just how much Sinners has practiced this map. Aero Pipes is of course, one of the most interesting matches to watch due to the very interesting identity where you jump on pipes to get into the finish line.
It is such a wild identity, and the crazy thing is, we've looked at a stat called the survival percentage, which is how often the players actually survive it, and so far, Aero Pipes, they've handled well. It's not the most crash-heavy one. That belongs to Parkour and to, I believe, Slippy Slides.
Yes. But here, first match, we're going to have Freestyle, where BDS has actually performed pretty well. And as far as the numbers do go, it looks like Sinners has had quite a problematic experience with this map going into this this first match here. So hopefully they've practiced it quite a lot.
Yeah, the players have had 18 rounds of it from Sinners, and their best pace is right around 107.8. Whereas Offie and Aurel have both driven faster than that with mid 107s and better averages.
Yeah, so it is going to be interesting to see just where it goes. Hopefully Sinners, I mean, we talked about this, we just quickly went into the point that sometimes if you underperform 1 week on a map, you have a tendency to over practice that map for next week. So it could be that Sinners today has practiced this map specifically because they've underperformed on it previously.
I mean, if you look at your own stats and see like, okay, which map would my opponents think is my worst?
Yes.
It could be this one. Maybe the Reddit for it. We'll see. Can Sinners be the team to take down BDS? Solary could not do it. G1 could not do it. And Into the Breach could not do it either. But Kappa and Tween here, they are the underdogs. They don't really have anything to lose by trying.
Absolutely not. So we go into the first round here on Freestyle, and it does look like all the players are executing all of the drifts quite well in the start, going into the nose section. They want to hit this reset block and then up into a left-hander, going into a very interesting section where we're going to see some different lines.
Yeah, we have that ice jump into the ring here. Both players from BDS are going for a low line, which means they are also going to go a little bit wider on this dirt platform, whereas the people that go for a short line are going to go more inside. We see Tween jumping quite far to two BDS players releasing to land earlier into that downhill, and here into the ending, the main obstacle part of the track. You need to keep fourth gear, which Tween has managed here. Flicks onto the first dirt wall, passing both BDS players just barely into the next wall. Better approach than his opponent up front. Will he get a better ending though? Not quite, and that is Offie winning the round with a 107.6.
107.6 is a very respectable time. Like, it is only about 0.3 slower than the fastest time we've seen in the league so far. And I mean, if you drive consistent 107s, you're going to be sure to do well for your team. Top 2, top 3, probably guaranteed with 107s.
Yeah, 107 is the benchmark on this map, but that is great to see from Tween how close he got to Offie there, because his pace in the weeks prior has not been that fast. But now, 107, that gives them good winning chances here, and they started with a draw.
They did start with a draw indeed. Good start for both teams. It is already close, as you can see. Once again, all the players, they're driving on top of each other. It's very difficult to see the small nuances these players do for hundredths of a second to just get their nose inched out in front. Here we have the two Sinners players going for a little bit of an alternative line to get more speed here in the dirt uphill. Aurel must have had a little bit of a slight mistake, landing early though to get the speed down in the downhill, and we head into the identity once again. Most of the players, they get the gear right here. It's going to be really, really close. Tween once again trying to attack here from behind. Afi maintaining the lead. A draw is what's going to happen, but can one of the Sinners players see if they can get the lead? We have a mistake. We actually saw Kappa with a slight mistake, but Tween did manage to snipe that first place away from Afi, and therefore Sinners get the victory on the second match.
Yeah, they move into the lead. Amazing. 107 as well there from Tween again. And interestingly, very difficult spot for Afi to defend. If you are the one defender and they have two attackers like that, Kappa just sent it. You saw, like, we are going for this win. We are not here for draws, and they get that 1 point up.
And it's nice to see that they've definitely pushed the practice on this map already. You can identify that just by the times that are being driven. So it's nice to see Sinners once again showcasing that they are not just going to roll over. Even though they've lost 3 matches in a row, this is the match that we might see the underdogs come back.
We might indeed. They had a strong showing here against Solary. I believe they almost won that map. Afi is the only player left again for his team. Aurel hits that wall, and again he's left in a difficult situation, but now way earlier into the map. Sinners have so much time to try to find a win here.
Yeah, and you can see the pressure that's being put on Afi already by both the Sinners players. Afi knows that he's second right now, once again releasing to land early, get the speed in the downhill, but he knows that he's sandwiched between these two Sinners players, and he needs to see if he can find this first place to make it a draw. Otherwise, Sinners are going to get the map victory. Once again, he gets a really low jump here. Very, very nicely done by Afi, and he's now in the lead, but he needs to maintain this lead. One more jump to go. He makes it perfectly, and Afi does secure that draw.
Afi, one of the strongest individual performances so far in the first 3 weeks. Week 4 starting out strong for him. Again, he's just constantly up there in that first and second place for BDS right now. And if he was not, this would be very different on the scoreboard.
Absolutely. I mean, but seeing Sinners right now in the lead, even if it's just 4-3, it's great showing. And the players, you know, they've been warming up here for probably the last couple of hours, just playing straight up matches or scrims here on these maps. So they're definitely warm. We see all of the players once again driving just on top of each other. The start of this map seems to be very consistent. All of the teams have practiced this tens, if not hundreds of hours. So the consistency is really being shown here. We're talking less than 1/100th of a second separating the players 30 seconds into the map.
So close so far. And they are just trying to stay a little bit on the safer side. Mistakes, crashes, any small error off your line. It's very costly. Kappa again jumping far here. We'll get to the checkpoint sooner, but at the cost of less speed. Also making this drift now more tricky, but he keeps the gear, though he has a difficult task. 2 opponents ahead. Tween gonna try to join him, deny the ace from happening. Tween and Kappa both now passing Afi, but Aurel is up in first. Afi could get past 1 here and make it a win. It's a draw. Very close though. 107.6.
Once again a draw, but the further, I mean, you can make this argument, the further we come into these weeks, the more time each of the teams have been able to practice, and the more close we're going to see these matches, and it's already reflected here in the first match of the day.
It is. This was their first choice, the strongest map for BDS that they thought they could perhaps just stomp Sinners on, but they're still in the lead thanks to that 1 win and the consecutive draws here. So great start for Sinners. They do need to keep this up because BDS are constantly applying more and more pressure, and even in rounds now where we don't see a mistake from Aurel, they have a difficult task. If Afi and Aurel both do their 107 mid pace, I don't know how Sinners can deny them.
No, but what I love to see here is that every single round, except maybe 1 or 2 small crashes, we've seen all of the players head in to the identity on pace for a 107, and that means that there's almost no crashes coming in before we head into the final section as we do it right now. Both of the Team BDS players are in the lead, but we have a small mistake.
Afi missed the gear. He's not going to have a lot of speed for this identity, and that puts a lot of pressure on Aurel. Sinners could get another win unless Aurel can deny here and get first place into the fling. He clips, and Tween is going to pass him. Is Kappa there? Oh, it's by 100th. The ace almost there for Sinners.
Almost an ace for Sinners. That would have been tremendously bad for Team BDS. That would have put Sinners up to 8 points, BDS on 4. But now Sinners have put themselves on match point, or track point as they call it, where if they get an ace, they can technically close it out this round.
Yeah, they would need 3 points to do so. BDS, still a chance. Do need to get that ace though. I feel like BDS have unrealized potential so far on this map. Both the individual pace from Arel and Uffy are so good, but they just haven't gotten it in the same round, and that's how Sinners remain ahead here. So we now go on to the reset. Uffy going very close to the left side. They're getting more speed than the other 3 racers, and that will put him up into first. Here we constantly see BDS get a small advantage as Kappa and Tween go higher, get that consistent line, keep 4th gear from all the way before the turn even starts. And they come a little bit back into frame, into the identity now. Same situation as last time, so consistent from all 4 players, but which team will get the best of it this time? Kappa going wide, missing the gear. Same for Tween, actually. Disastrous round for Sinners. BDS should be able to ace this.
They should. They're very, very close. Now they just need one more jump to make it into the finish, and they do it beautifully. Both Kappa and Tween made mistakes there. I saw, I think it was Kappa. He actually hit the checkpoint, and that's why he got flung a little bit too wide and hit the the subsequent checkpoint as well.
But look at the time from Arel. Even if they didn't crash, 107.4. That is almost the league record. The league record is a 107.36. The fastest time driven in a match on this map by Gwen. So that is an incredible pace shown here from Arel, who many people consider the anchor of the team, the player that's gonna drive the consistent time and never crash, and Uffy is the guy pushing for first places. That is no longer really the narrative. If Arel drops a 107.4, exactly, he is suddenly the attacker.
We have touched upon this privately before we started the stream here, and we can talk about it as well, that since this is 2v2, we have a mistake already, unfortunately. We have a mistake coming in from Team BDS, and we need to see Sinners capitalize on this. They're going to try to see if they can get the victory on this round. Maybe even an ace if they can make Afi make a small mistake, maybe from the pressure there from both the players.
Yeah, an ace here would let them get the win on the map just under the nose of BDS, who was looking like the favorites to win Map 1. Tween now approaching Uffy, but Uffy keeping his own in 2nd place. That is enough to deny them. Kappa making a mistake as well. The ace might not happen. It might actually be a draw if Arel can get past Kappa. We'll see though. Tween remains in first for now, and the 2 BDS players have gotten past Kappa. Will it be a draw? Arel with a mistake. We're going to 9-9 here.
Very interesting. As close as it gets before a team gets to the match point. 9-9 is always interesting, but just to touch back on the anchor thing you just said here, since we're in a 2 versus 2 format, there's a lot of tactic going into these matches, and one of the tactics is to have one player push to get that PB pace time, like just go as fast as you can, full send it, and then an anchor, which is supposed to be the supporting role. You make sure that you do the safe lines. You're gonna be maybe 0.1, 0.2 behind, but at least you will always be there.
Yeah, and some teams just throw that theory out the window. You have teams like G1 where it feels like both players attempt to beat world record, like they have an eternal challenge. Who can get world record and match first? And some teams play a bit differently. We'll see which strategy ends up being the best. 9-9 here though, taking stock of the current round. Either team, if they get a win, that's the game. A draw would postpone it. Kappa going up into first right now, but the 2 BDS players right there as well. Jumping far together with Tween, his teammate. A little bit out of frame. Kappa, the first defender, going in to the wall ride. More speed, taking first place back into his own hands as Tween has fallen further behind. Kappa could extend this map. One more wall ride would do it. Uffy and Arel needs to be clean, cannot make a mistake or they will get past, but we are going into another round. Kappa secures a draw.
We already get to talk about this hidden mechanic that we didn't mention during when we showcased how point system worked. Overtime. In case of a 10-10, we get overtime, which the players will just keep driving until one team gets a point more than the other. So once one team gets either an ace or a victory, that's when the map ends.
Hey Jnic, are you on overtime? Because you're a 10 out of 10.
Oh my god.
And
thank you
so is the gameplay we are seeing. What a first map. BDS and Sinners have gone to overtime. Now any victory will be final. We set in stone. Uffy again looking for that pace out and start here. You can see 1300s gained across just a few drifts is a lot of time.
That is quite significant already, and he goes for a lower line, so he's going to maintain the lead, but is he going to maintain the speed going into this uphill? This is now a really close struggle here between Kappa and Afi. Afi will once again slow down quite a lot to get the speed in the downhill. We need to see Sinners push here in the ending, because Afi and Aurel are looking to close out map 1 right now. Can Kappa get this low airtime jump and overtake? He's getting really close. He might be able to do it here. One more jump to get it done. Kappa, will he be able to snipe? It does not look like it. And Team BDS will end it off with an ace.
They made it so close here, Sinners, but BDS win their map choice, and they do it in the way we predicted, just with that dominant pace that Sinners really could not keep up with consistently. 107.6 is too tough.
It's an incredible time, but also very nice to see that the teams did go 10-10.
We have some replays, the very close round. Sinners started out and they held this lead for about 5 to 6 rounds, but I think the decider that came through in the favor of BDS was that one ace round that gave them 3 full points against the 0 of Sinners. That's how big the aces are.
And here we have round 5, where just a few hundreds are separating the players, just showcasing how close these matches can get. Very lovely to see. The separation of the players are just almost non-existent.
Yeah, we're going on to reps, which is a pretty difficult map. Players here do tend to crash a lot in the identity, not because they are bad, they're actually very good at the game, but it is a incredibly difficult map to drive.
The ending might not look incredibly flashy, but the consistency that you need to get the ending down every time, especially due to the narrow beams, is just immense. It's more of a precision ending than anything else, honestly.
It is, and the problem here for Sinners is that if this is their first choice, it really speaks volumes of how well BDS have been playing so far this season. In last week's matches, Afi from BDS was the #1 performing player on this map. His average pace was a 106.90 and his best 106.48, which was just 500s from the league record. So Afi on reps is incredibly fast, very consistent, 70% survival rate, which is the highest of any player without mistakes. And we'll see if they can match that.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Kappa doesn't seem to, well, if you just look at last week's times, Kappa doesn't seem to have as great of a time here, but it's also important to notice or remember that last week they did play against Solary, and they might have had to push themselves out of the comfort zone to keep up with the pace of Pack on this map.
Yeah, Pack was also spectacularly fast.
You could argue that the reason we see a slightly worse Sinners on the stats is because they were pressured to keep up with some pace that they didn't have, and then might have made some more mistakes than they would have otherwise.
And I wonder really if the plan here is not like to pick what theoretically is the best map for them, but rather like lead BDS into scary situations. Like, this is a scary map and mistakes can happen quickly on reps, and maybe that's where they see an opportunity. Like, let's bring our opponents into a deep, dark forest and see who comes out of it on the other side.
We do also see Team Sinners going for the wide line there on the dirt, which is objectively just faster than going inside. It's a little more scary, but they keep doing it, just showcasing that they are comfortable with this map as we head into the loop right before the final left-hander here. Aurel going really wide there on the loop, almost touching. They're going to go down to the grass hill, get the third gear, maintain that third gear, then upper gear while driving straight. And it's going to be Aurel and Tween in the lead, fighting here. One beam down, second beam, Tween almost clipping, but he makes it work, and both of them hit the finish. Well played. Tween with a 106.63.
That's very fast from Tween. I believe that is his fastest time that he's driven on the map in the league. Great from Tween. That beats his best from last week by 0.3 already. So they have done their homework on this. I think they've prepared this as the map we're gonna put BDS for a fight on, and they're starting out strong.
They are starting out strong, and what I like to see is that they had no clear mistakes anywhere on the map. They just drove a very clean round, including the identity.
They did, and now, as you pointed out, the outside line here on the dirt, it's something that not all the players will go for, but here we see the Sinners fancy it. Aurel looks like he's getting the lead, but then the Sinners come back with all that exit speed, and we did see a small mistake from Afi once again. Has not found the rhythm in these first 2 rounds here, putting a lot of pressure on Aurel. Aurel, the only defender now from that ace, and Kappa was so close last time. Into the loop here. We go up for the identity one more time. We're going to see the players try to preserve third gear down this hill, but really the beams will decide the round. Tween about 500s ahead of Aero. Kappa getting closer. Could they ace the BDS team here? The undefeated team, the underdogs. 3 points to nothing, and they secure it. And another amazing time from Tween.
Another amazing time. 106.57. We're looking at some very fast times right now. And a nice ace coming in for Team Sinners, putting themselves into a 5-1 lead. This looks really strong.
This is great from Sinners. I'm so impressed right now with how they look on this map. It looks completely different from when they played it in the previous weeks. They've really, refined it.
They did indeed. Now let's take a look one more time at this very scary outside dirt line that they're going to come up on.
Let's
Team
see
Sinners.
if they survive it. Offie really needs to survive this round. I think he's just fancying not doing anything too flashy here, too risky. He just needs to be there for his teammate, because there's only so much you can ask your teammate to do in a 2v1 situation. And now Offie is there for RL to try to help him out. Offie, the strongest individual performance on this last week, averaging about the times of 106.78.
But it's still so scary to put your teammate all alone in the lead. The only thing standing between Team Sinners and another ace is Afi as of right now, and Kappa and Tween are looking to take any opportunity that they're going to get to overtake here. They're just going to drive clean. Afi also gets a very nice identity.
Kappa missed. It's a win for BDS because Kappa did miss that risky finish, and Offie answers back 106.5. The pace on this map has gotten so much faster.
It has, and the reason we see a missed finish is because a lot of the time the players will clip their right wheels on the final jump. They're still trying to hit that finish, but sometimes the wheels, they will push you out into the water once again, and that's unfortunate what we see from Team Sinners.
You really don't want to miss on the left side. That's why they do that. If you miss on the left, you just are in for a world of time loss. First, you miss the pool, then you fly off the map. It's better to clip on the right side, because if you miss, you get that safe finish. Again on the outside line here, though. So much comfort being shown from Sinners. But BDS, if I remember from week 1, they did this same strategy against Into the Breach. They don't want that outside line. They just want to survive.
Yeah, right now they're going for consistency. And it does seem to work because Afi is still ahead of Team Sinners, which goes to show that he has enough pace on the rest of the map to save that line and make sure that he just maintains that first place. And right now, Tween is the one who's trying to see if he can overtake Afi for first place, but Kappa is on 4th place not right now. It's going to come down to the identity once again. Do we see any mistakes? First beam down, second beam crossing, everybody making it work. Kappa having a little more speed, and Aurel missed the finish, and we're going to see a draw.
Yeah, same situation, but opposite team colors here. A draw, and that plays into the favor of Sinners. Now on that track point, an ace will give them the win on their own map choice.
It will. This looks a lot stronger than BDS was on their own map choice. BDS, they ended up going 10 to 10 versus Sinners here on the last map, or on BDS's first map pick, and now on Sinner's first map pick, it's 7 to 4. So it will be interesting to see if BDS can clutch it out, maybe get an ace, come back into this match. But as of right now, Sinners are looking very comfortable.
As of 5 rounds played, the only mistake from the Sinners squad is that one missed risky finish. Apart from that, they've been entirely clean, putting so much pressure on BDS because this is not a map most teams survive that consistently. And here again, we see a mistake from Aurel. The Sinners are clean, and it's only Offie right there to deny the map win between Kappa and Tween right now. Maybe he can get a draw as well, but Offie needs to hold this one for BDS into the identity. He has secured first place, going into the jumps, gets onto the first beam, lands on the second one, lines for the drift approach into the third, bit wide, clipping the corner a little bit. Will he make the finish? Gets through, and the BDS team will get a draw for his efforts.
See, the thing about that was a really clean finish, right? That was a really clean identity, but the margin of error between a very clean identity and making a huge mistake is so small.
I saw 2 points where it was probably a matter of 3 pixels before Offie would have crashed out there.
It is incredible the amount of precision that the players they need to get that identity down. I quickly want to touch up on why it is that we keep saying this dirt line that we're going to see in a second, why that is so scary. And it's because the turn radius of the car on dirt is not sharp enough to make that turn. But because the corner of the dirt turn is angled in a slope that actually pushes you in the direction you need to go. So you see the players, they drive on the slope there, on the corner. That's the only reason that they can make that turn. And it is so easy making a mistake, as Tween does right there, clipping the inside of that corner.
First big mistake from Sinners. Now a big opportunity for BDS, because now they have everything to play for. 2 versus 1. Kappa really needs to defend here. An ace would make the match so scary. You could flip either way. They want to hold on to that 3-point gap that they have. Kappa, at least a second place would do well, but an ace would be not so great for his team, and he clips. The pressure might get it to him right there. Aurel safing, seeing that ahead of him, and Uffy and Aurel will equalize the map.
And just like that, yes, just like that, Team BDS is back, and it's 8-8, and Sinners do not look as comfortable as they did a second ago. Maybe we will see a 10-10 again if we get 2 draws in a row, but the match could also end right now if any team gets a victory.
And this, I think, is a trend we've seen from BDS, where just from last week, their average position was 2.5, meaning that they got an average of between second and third. And somehow they still won their match. That is because they get these aces when it matters. When they recognize a spot where they can ace, they get those 3 points right then and there and climb back up in the rankings. Right, again, we do have Aurel with a mistake. Uffy, chance to make it a draw. But as you said, it is approaching overtime here very quickly. Kappa and Tween, though, might recognize this is a situation we're gonna go all in.
Yeah, and I think it's really important that Afi is in the lead as he goes into the identity, because he doesn't want to push himself outside of his own boundaries to make this happen. So if Kappa can overtake as we head into the identity, that will put extra pressure on Afi and make him maybe have a slightly higher chance of making a mistake. But Afi maintains his lead beautifully, and he goes into the identity with 2 car lengths ahead. Kappa with a mistake, and what's gonna be Tween against Afi in the lead. Can Afi make this final beam happen? He can indeed. Is he gonna hit the finish? It does look like he's gonna make it. Tween is gonna get second place. Aurel gets third, and that's Team BDS winning map 2 against Sinner's map choice.
From 8-5 to 10-9 there in the last 2 rounds. Really quick comeback from BDS. Really deadly when it matters. They get those points and they take the map away. Although Sinners looked so good here.
Yeah.
It's really a shame for that team.
That is a shame, because you can be ahead by multiple points, but then your opponents get an ace and then they get a map victory, and all of a sudden they got 5 points while you only got 1.
It was such a interesting match. They started out strong. Tween and Kappa, they definitely have the pace here, but those crucial mistakes were what cost them the win. Starting out with 106.5, 106.6, like that. It's great pace on reps. Now they are up for a difficult challenge. Back and forth is Uffy's best map. It is a great map for Aurel as well, who was able to get up to Uffy's pace on the map. Sinners do like this map. They picked it, and they did win it against Solary. But the problem is they're against the best back and forth team.
They are, but if we take a look at day 3's or week 3's times on this map, it does look like Sinners actually has quite a high score on this map. Like, they're doing pretty well, so this might also be a very interesting map pick from BDS, and it might be a very interesting match in general on this map as well.
We will see if they can keep up. Uffy's start again, just incredible. Look at that, 3/10 gained towards his competition. He also has the league record on this map with a 57.8, and he drives consistently around the 58 mark. And my god, we are seeing Uffy just run away with this first round, half a second ahead. Aurel is there too, and they might just start this off with a clean ace here if they survive the identity. The main obstacle part here is driving backwards, and you have to time the turns very precisely because there are poles, there are obstacles. You need to slalom your way through. Aurel had to release, that gives an opportunity, but Kappa crashes out. Aurel will get passed by Tween, though, barely denying the ace. But look at that time from Uffy, a comfortable 58.2.
Yeah, if we see any 57s, that's when we start yelling out loud that is incredibly fast, but a comfortable 58.2 is definitely enough to put a lot of pressure on your opponents, and also, in this case, get first place.
Just to put some perspective into this, out of the 20 rounds that Uffy has played on this, he has gotten first place 13 times. And Aurel has gotten 2 of those first places as well. So they have won 15 out of 20 rounds, and make that now 16 out of 21 rounds they played on this map. They are just incredible, BDS, on back and forth.
And as you say that, they are once again in the lead. Capo is trying to pressure as much as he can, but Team BDS, they just keep on increasing their lead, going into the 360 right now. Let's see if they get that perfectly as well. They do indeed. Kappa will lose even more pace against Alfie and Aurela, and you can see just how comfortable they are on this map, being so far ahead of Team Sinners. They can even release and save the identity a little bit here. If they just get these turns without having to go too tight, they will maintain the lead. Kappa is really risking right now to get closer. Is it all for naught, though? It does look like it is. His teammate Tween also overtakes, but they're just far behind. 57.9 and a 58-0 coming in from Team BDS.
And keep in mind, Kappa and Tween drove great runs there. They drove that 58-2, that 58-3.
That one last round.
Yeah, it would beat most teams on this map. And then you have Offie and Arel with 57 and 58-0. That is just incredible. I don't know if they had a reason why they didn't ban this map, because it's so tough to see how they can win.
I mean, this map is incredibly difficult also just in all regards for these players as well. Team BDS is making this look easy, but this jump, the consistency of this jump and the turnaround is so difficult. And now we have Team BDS once again flying out far ahead of Team Sinners, and they can once again be in such a comfortable position going into the identity. I don't think we're going to see them fail.
This is a power statement from BDS. Sure, they didn't get that first ace, but look at the lead they have in this identity. I mean, again, as you said, they can release, they can save it, they don't need to risk. And I think we're going to see 2 fast times again here, Jnic. 58.05, 58.2. Consistently that fast, and it's 8-1.
But you also got to realize, also to the people at home, that these 58 times they're driven while they're safing. They know we don't have to risk it. So in the ending, they might lose 0.1 just because they're like, yeah, it's fine. Don't drive close to the corners. Don't clip anything. Just get into the finish. And Tween already with a huge mistake. And he did that while driving through the checkpoint. So he's stuck in a loop unless he full respawns. So that's going to slow him down by a tremendous amount.
Kappa needs first place to extend this. And the problem is that when a team drives as fast as BDS, it puts pressure on you to go all in and risk to keep up. You can't afford to drive safe if you're Sinners, because you're just going to lose on pace. It forces the mistakes out of Sinners because they have to take these massive risks to keep up.
And on top of that, Kappa can't, like, be happy with just overtaking Aurel. He needs to take on Afi right now.
He needs 0.3 in the identity.
Yeah, and I mean, that's going to be incredibly difficult. We're going to see some huge risking here from Kappa, trying to go as inside as humanly possible. Goes a little wide here, but he needs to overtake Afi to extend this by just one more round, and it does not look like Afi is going to give up that first place. Afi takes it home and takes the map win. 57-9-69. That's such a nice time.
Just incredible on this. Aurel also stepping up big time. Kappa and Tween, they're fast. I think they could beat most teams, but BDS on this track, I don't think anyone's beating them.
Such a power move coming in from Team BDS right now. 10-2. Wow.
That is a great showing on map number 3. They've won the first 3 maps now, BDS. So we're heading on to Sinner's second choice. But first, a replay.
Yeah, BDS with a strong ace here in round 3, once again showcasing just how fast BDS is. They're so far ahead. They can comfortably just go into the identity and make sure they don't clip anything. Such a great showing. I mean, it's gonna, like all the other teams, they're gonna notice Team BDS here on back and forth, and that's gonna get banned. Like, that's just what it is.
It is probably, and we will have to see what Sinners can do in the situation they're in right now. Something to take away. They're gonna try Aero Pipes.
They are gonna try Aero Pipes. Here, Aero Pipes, once again, is a very interesting map due to the ending of the map having a bunch of, well, not bunch, like 3 pipes you have to jump on back and forth to make sure that you get into the finish. And we actually have seen the players practice this quite a lot because it's not too inconsistent for them, but it's such a difficult identity.
Yeah, this is a map, the least played map actually in the map pack together with parkour. Players don't favor this map because its difficulty, the identity, and you will see why when we get there. First though, the ice part here, you want to make sure that you get the ice slide timing right. No gear bugs in here, no issues. It looks like all players get through it all clean, and now we drop into the drift and we go onto the first pipe. A little bit of a teaser for what's to come later on into the map. The Aero Pipe identity is main obstacle. We go into more drift, a uphill drift here, which does suit the Sinners. Quite technical track here. Kappa passing RL, but then we are one drift away from the show starting in the identity here. Want to build up speed, land on the platform, get as fast as you can into the engine off part, and then 3 pipe jumps. The first one, Uffy is going to land it. A transition onto the second. Arrel's made a mistake in fourth. Kappa barely surviving in third, gets past for that position, and it looks like BDS will start out with a win.
BDS will start off with a win. Like, you could argue that Sinners did look at Team BDS's performance, because BDS's performance on this map hasn't been the greatest. They've had 6 rounds in total on this map, and they've won one of them. Well, now they've had 7 rounds and won 2, but like, they haven't gotten the best showing on this map the last time they played it, and maybe Sinners picked up on that, hoping that they could inch it out. So maybe they can. It was just the first round, just the first pancake. Let's see what Team Sinners can do.
Yeah, and to be fair, that match was against Solary, where Pac dropped like world records min-max, so they had a tough opponent last time they played it. They were still pretty good, and the consistency is really what's going to come through. How often they land those pipe jumps. I remember Uffy here being really clean with the Aero Pipes identity, and he started off with a win for his team. Tween having to adapt and go for a jump there, losing a lot of time, putting Kappa in a tough spot, having to try to ace or beat the BDS team so that they don't get aced. We'll see as they set up here. Watch out, they're gonna try to go wide here for speed. Uffy all the way out to the left so that he can build up speed through the freewheeling, get as fast as he can, and now they're crawling closer to Kappa. The speed onto the first pipe. They are still faster. Uffy makes a mistake, having to respawn. That gives Tween an opportunity. Kappa is going to secure first, and Tween will likely get third here, so Sinner's answer is back.
Absolutely, and as you said, Uffy does look like he's really strong on this map once he drives PB pace. But if you look at the stats, he's actually crashed half the times he got to the identity. 4 out of 8 attempts right now is a crash for Uffy. So he needs to see if he can find the consistency in the identity, because he has the pace to get incredibly fast rounds. In fact, he has the 2nd fastest PB on this map in matches. So we know he has the pace. He just needs to get through the map.
He does. We've also seen some mistakes here in this ice slide, as setting it up is quite tricky on the new ice physics this time. All players survive it. Tween still, though, being a bit slower on this map than the other 3 players out of the starts. Catches up a little bit here to RL. Kappa trying to battle for that first place with Uffy, setting up wider and not gonna get the drift to follow. Really tough there into the downhill, and now Tween being left alone to fight 2 BDS players.
Yeah, he will have to push himself to the limit to see if he can overtake Uffy here. Uffy is 0.3 ahead, so there's a lot to do. He probably has to hope for Uffy making some sort of small mistake, as Aurel also overtakes Tween, and it's down to the identity. It looks like Team BDS is looking for the ace. Tween is pushing it. Uffy made a mistake. Can he overtake Aurel in the ending? No, Aurel will maintain that first place, but it looks like it's going to be a draw. Kappa did come back to third place, and Tween secured that second.
It is so mean to sit here in the caster booth comfortably and just laugh when a player falls off the pipe, but it is a quite comedic map when you see the cars just fly off the pipes. Like, my god, is it difficult though. They're trying their best. A draw secure there from a tough spot for Sinners, and again, you talked about that consistency. Uffy again failed that pipe.
And yeah, but the reason the pipes are so difficult is because your trajectory to jump to the pipe differs depending on your speed and depending on the angle of the jump that you're taking. So it's so difficult landing perfectly there on the pipe while not either falling off or having to adjust tremendously.
Yeah, it's a really big game of playing the map enough that you know how to come back from every possible outcome that you see on the pipes. And sometimes you don't have time to react. Sometimes you get things like Kappa just had a slow landing here with no room for adjusting it before it took place. Uffy and RL, who have won 3 maps in a row, are looking for the clean sweep of Sinners, but another mistake from Uffy and a mistake from Tween here makes the round a scramble. RL clear first place by almost a second. Kappa getting closer to Uffy. Do not want to get aced here. Gonna try his best on the first pipe. Uffy again bouncing out. Another mistake there. RL, will he survive the last? He will. And will Tween follow Kappa into the finish here to get that third? It's another draw.
This is what I talked about. Uffy seems to have trouble with the consistency there in the ending. He is he's failing quite a lot. About half the identities that he's driving through.
Well, in this match, he's 1 for 4.
Yes, exactly. So definitely he has to take a look at the identity, maybe slow down even, just to make sure he gets the jump. But because getting the identity first try instead of respawning is faster, even if you slow down a little bit.
This is definitely a good choice from Sinners. It shows that they can be competitive on this map as well, way more so than they could on back and forth. But here, they do have to make use of these mistakes that they're seeing and get some points. I think we had a slide out from Aurel there in the ice. Big respawn, several seconds behind. And now, Afi, he has not been consistent on the pipe jumps yet, but this round he needs to be. If not, the Sinners are going to be there to pick up an ace.
Yeah, let's see if Afi, he can make the identity happen now that there's pressure on, and it's important that he gets it this time around. Otherwise, Sinners will get that ace, put themselves up to 8 points, and then it's going to look really scary. But Afi has the lead right now. He's going to maintain at least a couple of car lengths going into the engine off section right now, right before the identity. Tween and Kappa are right on his tail, looking for opportunity to pounce here. Afi gets the first jump down, and the second jump, Tween falling out the map. Kappa is right behind, but Afi makes it work.
Did you see that last landing angle for Afi? That was so close. His car almost lost the grip, but he kept his cool, secures first place, and we have another very exciting draw.
6-6 right now. That's, I mean, we've seen a lot of really tight matches coming in from Team BDS. The back and forth was very one-sided on BDS's favor, but other than that, we've seen some very tight matches here on this matchup.
And I think if Sinners do win a map here, it could bring them a lot of momentum, because I think BDS are feeling quite comfortable, you know, oh, we destroyed them on back and forth, we have a great match, and let's just close this out. If Sinners make them play another map, and then another map, and then another map, and BDS are kind of like, oh, let's just get out of here, you know, we already proved ourselves. And Sinners are like, nah, you're still stuck with us. If they can get these maps and get the momentum going, they can realistically come back in this match. They matched BDS on most maps, so we'll see if they can do it. They do need to get a win on Aero Pipes. This round is looking tough with Tween in last and Afi in first. Maybe Kappa can do something.
But, I mean, we also just gotta talk about the mental strength that it takes for Team Sinners to come back from such a devastating map on back and forth and then showcase just that they can come back right now. As we see Kappa right behind Afi, is he gonna be able to overtake here in the crucial ending? Afi gets one jump, he gets the next one. Kappa, unfortunately, with a mistake. Is it gonna be an ace for Team BDS? It's gonna be an ace for Team BDS. Afi and Aurel both get first and second place, jump up to 9 points, and now it's looking really scary for Team Sinners.
It is looking dire. They tried their best. 96. It's still not over, but they need the ace. They need both to be ahead of Aurel and Afi. Afi and Aurel can even afford to lose this round. That's how the point system works. A loss still gives you 1 point if the player gets second place.
Yes. So for now, we need to see Team Sinners get an ace. There's no other way they stay in this matchup. And it would be so unfortunate seeing Team Sinners lose 4-0 again against another team.
But going into this match, they are the bottom team of the league. Going against the top team, it's the ultimate underdog story. And as most underdog stories, it might be that it does not come through, but we still would love to see them succeed. Of course, here, can BDS remain undefeated in week 4? Team that many people also had as an underdog team going into the season. They have delivered and really shown up in World Tour so far. Aurel is currently denying any ace from happening, but the Sinners are right there. Aurel, the last defender, as we see that Kappa and Tween have both passed him, but Kappa with a backflip now has to hope for a mistake from both the BDS players. And although Tween remains in first, that is the thing. It's not going to be enough. BDS go 4-0 after 4 weeks of play.
4-0, Team BDS undefeated. And on top of that, finish off with a 4-0. Here on week 4, an incredible showing by Team BDS, an unfortunate showing here by Team Sinners, but I mean, we still have more weeks to go. Team Sinners is not out yet.
Yeah, and although they are 4-0, I think we did see more life from Sinners. I think we saw some dents in the armor from BDS, like the mistakes here on Aero Pipes. This could be a weakness that someone could pick into. We also did see some really good stuff from Sinners on Freestyle. Good stuff on reps as well. Like, they have a lot to play for.
Here we see Team BDS here ending the draw streak. Here we have 6-6, but Team BDS will take on that ace from the 6-6 turning into a 9-6. An absolutely incredible showing, yeah. But at that point, what are you going to do? Like, you have to get aces.
I think even after back and forth, when you go down 3 maps and they do it in such a fashion where it's just like, my god, what did they even do on this map? You kind of, yeah.
But also, like, the mental game that you get from winning 10-2 on a map over your opponents, you get the momentum going out of this map, and you just get the hype with your teammates sitting there like, we did that, let's do it again. It's incredibly hard to beat.
It is very tough. We're gonna take a quick break, but when we return, we will have the game KC versus Berlin International Gaming, Otak and Brandon versus Massa and Granati. Gonna be a great show. We'll take a quick 5 minutes, and then we'll get right back into more Trackmania World Tour action. Don't go anywhere, though. Hope you're enjoying the show, and we'll see you again in a little bit.